listening to the Business Jacking Podcast, the business podcast that lets you hack great business ideas, strategies, and techniques from business experts from different industries. Hi there, and welcome to the Business Jacking Podcast from Q&E Software. Today's podcast is the first episode of the 4-part cash flow series that will talk about how to forecast cash flow in a crisis. And now, let's welcome our speaker, Mr. Patrick Luah.
Good afternoon, everyone online, and all of us in Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore, and Myanmar, right? Thank you so much for your invitation. And today, I think we have a very good session to share with everyone. In fact, I think everyone is now having a bit of challenges, rather very challenging at this moment, regardless whether it's ECQ or whether is it you're staying home to work or you're working from office or from home. I'm sure that everyone is trying to adapt, all right, to the new norm, all right? We call it the new normal, right? And I think in this moment, everyone is trying to learn the new way of doing things and the new way of thinking, all right? So today, I think we're going to do about cash flow management and strategy, and we're going to bring everyone to a new perspective as in what is cash flow and as in what is cash flow management. So before we do cash flow management, we must understand, all right, there is always a mind over here about how we interpret, all right, interpret figures and interpret trend, and most importantly, understand the global economy crisis recovery shapes, all right? And this is actually to help us in order for us to learn and to be able to redesign our new model, all right, to defend ourselves and, of course, to get more experience and get our team ready in a new normal situation. And during this crisis, I'm sure everyone is trying to do a forecast, trying to do a scenario planning. So this scenario planning basically is to help us to understand, all right, how can we, redesign our current model to actually take care of what is going to happen later on, forward-looking, beyond ECQ. All right, at this moment, no country can run away from this. All right, it's either the magnitude is large or the magnitude is under control. All right, we can look at the Asia, we can look at America, we can look at Africa, we can look at any other continent around the world. Now we are talking about how this vaccine for this COVID-19 will happen or will be released to everyone, all right, in order for us to cure or rather to overcome this situation, and how this habit will change the landscaping of our economy model, all right? So hopefully our sharing will give everyone a new perspective about the new norms on our cash flow management, all right? So next, I must say that Philippines is now is together with any other parts of the world. Now we are trying to contain, we are trying to arrange and see how are we going to proceed with our lives, proceed our business, because Malaysia over here, we just extended our so-called MCO, which is equivalent to ECQ in Philippines. In Malaysia, it's another 28 days. So next, so how are we going to place our strategy? All right, how we are during this critical time? So this is important. How are we going to play our game, and how are we going to place our resources? All right. So during this time of turbulence, why cash flow is important? Because everyone understands that for a company to operate, okay, we need resources, we need people, we need cash, we need money, we need cash flow in order for us to move forward. So in terms of turbulence, cash flow is one of the key resources that we need in order for us to be able to sustain. All right, when we have 90% drop in income, we have maybe zero income source, but our cash reserve, all right, is able to for us to maintain our staff, maintain our people. So once the quarantine is released, we are back to normal, we are back to business, and the people are still there. All right, the company is still there, and most importantly, the bosses are still there. All right, so this is the thing that I would like to advise everyone. Please work with your bosses. All right, and the bosses, please listen to the staff. Okay, to your workers, to your team, and you must work together. You must come up with some sort of agreed and communicated solution for us to stay together during this difficult time. So cash and people is always my favorite topic. Okay, when we talk about crisis, we talk about this COVID situation. All right. So during this lockdown period, what are the challenges that we face? All right. First thing, we must understand that market is uncertain. Okay, very uncertain. Why? Because the clients are becoming very undecided. Okay, why undecided? Because of is that tomorrow? Is that going to be next week? Is there going to be any opportunity for them if they were to stay on? So the clients are customers. Customers are now getting very particular about pricing. All right, they're very particular about choices. So for them to decide, they may take longer time. All right, take longer time for them to decide and whether this is the right time to buy, right time to purchase, right time to invest, or right time to do what they wishes to do. So this is a challenge now. All right, the market is uncertain. Clients is also very careful. All right. So the next thing, work remotely. All right. The team are not able to go back to office. All right. Or they may go back to office because they are under the essential service sector. All right. But how about those non-essential service sector? They may not be able to work as normal. They may need to work from home. All right. So if for example, a company where you have a server, all right, in the office, and probably you can just go back to the office and make sure that the server is functional for 24 hours. Okay, make sure the aircon is blowing, keeping the temperature down so that your server can run 24 hours. All right, that's what happened over here. So then your team can actually stay home and log on remotely or through VPN or whichever method so that they can actually still work and the phone is still working so that they can keep in touch with the customer. So that's how things are getting very different. Okay, this how things are getting very challenging. So we must know how to manage all these resources and work together with the team. All right, and make sure that the behavior are as usual, the behavior are organized. All right. So the next thing, the third challenges that we face is our cash. All right. How are we going to respond when we have zero income? When we have only 20%? When you have 30%? Are we going to sit there and wait, or are we going to think about how we're going to put our service back online? All right. We call it O2O, offline to online. All right. O2O. So this O2O concept, I'm sure everyone would like to do it, and I'm sure everyone who is not doing now would like to do it soon, or has already been transformed and already been doing it. All right. So this O2O concept and your crisis management. All right. This is the key. This is the key now. Bring your product, bring your services online. Just like Q&E, it's very good. They are doing a lot of education events. Just like our associations, they are joining together to bring good news, to bring good information. So during this ECQ, everyone is still staying home or staying in the learning mode. All right, everyone is still learning. All right, we are not sitting around, but we are continuously learning and upgrading our skill for the past 50 days. All right, and I'm sure that some of us are getting even more busy, all right, than normal. Why? Everyone is doing live Facebook. They're doing TikTok and all that. So this is a new norm that we need to embrace. All right. Okay. Next. So finding the right way to design a method. Okay, to improve the business method. All right. So everyone is willing to do something, but are you using the right method? All right. Are you using the right computer software tools? Are you using the right cash flow management analysis tool? So this is something that I need to advise. Everyone at this moment, they are a bit panicky initially, but now they are getting used to it. All right. You're adapting to the new environment. All right. You are learning how this is going to happen and how this is going to develop. So finding the right way. All right, everyone is hardworking, yes, but are you doing the right way? Okay, so choosing the right tools, for example, Q&E tools, is helping us to make our analysis of our figure, analysis of our accounts, and most of all, giving the bosses, giving the leaders the right information for them to make decision. All right, because without statistics, without data, all right, the leaders and decision maker can't make the right choice. All right, so this is important for us to understand. Data is important. All right, so next. So we're going to talk about cash flow, critical cash outflow. 7 of them, all right, which I have identified. So first thing first, payroll. All right, second, rental. Third, inventory. Fourth, your operation costs. And fifth, bank finances. Sixth, investment. All right, and the last one, but not least, is taxes. All right, everyone has to pay taxes. All right, so these 7 critical cash outflow, how are we going to tackle them? All right, payroll deal with people. All right, 0 income or 10% income or total loss of income, but people is still there. So are we going to maintain the people? Are we going to negotiate with our team, our staff, for reduced or deferred salary? All right, so this is something that we need to understand. At this moment, everyone is trying to conserve. All right, trying to keep as much buffer. What kind of buffer? cash buffer, all right, cash reserves for us to be able to sustain through this lockdown, all right. Once the lockdown is released, shops is open, business is open, people come back, all right. And like for example, Malaysia, we have this thing called the Conditional Movement Control Order, right? CMCO. So people are not allowed to go back to office gradually, all right. And I'm sure any other parts of the world now they're thinking reopening, all right. Now we talk about restarting, or talk about resetting, talk about rebooting, or reboot the system, all right. So these are the keywords that I think hopefully everyone understands. So the next thing is rental. So rental is another thing that whether your business is open or closed on Sunday, you still need to pay your rental. But during this time, are you talking to your landlords? Are you talking to them to negotiate for a deferred or a reduced rate? All right. So this is another second major cost that you may incur, especially those friends who are operating from the mall, shopping mall, all right, office block. All right. These are the rental that I think is important. So number 3, inventory. Okay, are you still holding on to a high level in inventory at the moment, or are you trying to unload your goods, your inventory online? All right, you may go to Lazada, you may go to the local marketplace, you may go to Amazon, right, to unload your stock, giving offer, all right, giving good package, all right, for you to turn your stock into cash, all right. Then 4, operation. So how about operation? You got to still think about your overheads, all right? So these are the things that you may need to think about, and how you can actually perform a slimming program, all right? It's like exercises, right? You got to burn off your fats, you got to burn off your excess, all right? So operation, you got to do slimming program, all right? Same thing, bank. So for bank part, you may have interest because you have loan. So are you talking to the bank? Are you talking to regulatory bodies so that they can defer? All right, so these are the things that the 7 main key outflow that you're going to face, and taxes, of course, investment. I'm sure that authorities now they are giving leeways, giving so-called understanding kind of a deferment of taxes payment. So these are the things that is helping not only from your individual but also from the government agencies. All right, so these are the 7 critical cash outflow that we need to think about in terms of the crisis. All right, so next. You must understand that there are up and downs, all right? And please stay positive, people. COVID-19 is like a weather, okay? It is there, all right? It comes and it may go, okay? It may stay a bit longer, but it will end soon, all right? It may end, I don't know, maybe 12 months, 18 months when vaccine is here, or maybe we have developed our own antibodies, all right, against COVID. So it depends on individual, it depends on the immunity system, and it depends on whether there will be a vaccine coming. All right. So we must understand that this is going to be a roller coaster situation. Right. We must not be overwhelmed by it. We must understand that we need to have plans for us to have plan B, for us to have plan C, for us to be able to respond to all this uncertainty that's coming towards us. All right. So I just want to encourage everyone, please stay positive. Okay, there's always a saying that because of this COVID-19, every one of us become more, more alert. All right, more, be able to tackle the challenges. We become more problem-solving skill. All right, so this problem-solving skill has actually gone up. Okay, for us to overcome. Okay, so bosses, team, all right, even our customer, our supplier, everyone has to work together, all right? So we must understand that there's another thing called the graph, all right? The so-called the statistics that is published by the world, we call it the IMF, all right? International Monetary Fund, all right? It is inside the World Economic Outlook report that was released early last month, all right? So we must understand that these are the happenings, all right? These are the forecasts, these are the projections, that this year, everyone is going to have a very tough time. All right? Looking forward to 2021, things may become better. Yes, definitely better. Because why? We are human beings with intelligence, with wisdom. All right? We will be able to overcome this with a lot of scientists working on it. Okay, our richest man in the world, Bill Gates, all right, has set out a foundation. He has donated billions of US dollars to help scientists to develop vaccine. So these are the things that I think it's not just a small country that is suffering, is impacting the whole, whole world. So not just like Malaysia, Singapore, all right, even large countries, all right, they are all facing the same situation. So you must understand that this is a very critical time, all right. So please, people, please stay positive, all right. We will be able to overcome it. Okay, Filipinos, as I spoke to Jesse just now, Filipinos are very, very strong mind. Okay, we are united. All right, we will be able to overcome this together. Okay, we have 100 million population here. All right, and these are the strong people. All right, please understand that we must overcome this together. All right. So the next thing we must see is that the latest World Economy Outlook growth projection. All right, when we talk about projection, we must understand that how much cash we have now. All right, how much cash have we now to overcome the current situation? That's why when we talk about cash flow strategy, people, for the past half an hour, I'm just talking about trend. I'm talking about information. I'm talking about all these statistics. Why? Because in order for us to decide, okay, how much cash you have, or how much cash you need to reserve or conserve, you must first understand what is coming. Okay, what is coming in front of us, what is coming, in our way, all right, and what is coming in the future. So you must understand that the world now is going to face a global sort of recession, downturn, that we probably have a minus 3.0% of this GDP growth this year. But next year we're going to have rebound. Okay, next year we're going to have 6%, 5.8. So different continent, different country, we have different statistics, and because of the background, because of the culture, because of how connected you are to the world, and depends on your value chain, your supply chain. All right, whether you are relying on the oil income or whether you are relying on exports. All right, so these are the mix of economy statistics for us to understand. All right, how the macro economy is affecting our micro economy, which is us. Every one of us are in a micro, but we must understand the macro side so that we can plan ahead. All right, so this is something that we need to learn. So in the report, we can see the Philippines, okay, which I have highlighted. Okay, so above Philippines is Malaysia, but the statistics you can see that Philippines is going to clock a slight positive figures as at now. It's going to be a 0.6 compared to many other ASEAN countries, which is going to have facing a negative GDP this year. And next year, I think Philippines, as forecast by IMF, is going to have a great year next year, which is a 7.6 percentage of this GDP growth next year. So these are the forecasts, but please stay positive, but yet cautious. All right. So we cannot be too optimistic about it, but we cannot be too pessimistic about it. So we must balance it up. All right. We need to get prepared. All right. Always say that what you're going to prepare for the worst. All right. But you get ready for the future. All right. So this is something that we need to understand. Okay. Next, the big lockdown survey. I'm sure that many of us has been asking this question. How bad would it be? All right. How soon will we recover? So these are the two main common questions that is keep on ringing around, and asking analysis. Okay, economists forecasts. All right, asking about bankers, asking about accountants, asking about your advisors. So, is there any answer to this? What I can say is the answer is yourself. How prepared are you? How willing are you to listen? How willing are you to accept new methods? All right, and how soon can you recover? It depends on how fast you react. Okay, so instead of looking out of the scope, but you look within yourself. All right, you look in your system, look among your team. All right, so looking within first, get yourself prepared in terms of your mindset, in terms of the system, and in terms of the methods. All right, so these are the things that is key. All right, key for you to answer this question. How bad will it be? Some say no, it doesn't affect me. Why? I'm doing online, so my business get better. Or some say, oh gosh, I'm in a hotel line. Oh gosh, I'm in a tourism line. That's really challenging. All right, but how soon can we recover? It depends on how well and how quickly your team work with the bosses, work with the management, work with the leaders. All right, so these are the main things I would like to share with you. All right, so next, cash management strategy. All right, 3 approaches. Number 1, you must be detailed. Okay, look into the details. Some bosses may not be looking into accounts in the past. They say, what is accounts? The figures doesn't gel. Doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand the figures. Right? But now it's different. Okay, bosses must learn how to read figures. And our accountants, our accounting team must produce the figures or chart, or some sort of report for our bosses to be able to understand. All right, so later I will share this part. All right, next, depth. All right, we're going to go to the inner side of it. You must go to the process. You must go to the system itself and understand from A to Z. All right, what are the individual processes you're facing? All right, you must understand that from A to Z, is there any procedure that you can save? Is there any procedure that create wastage? All right, so these are the things that later I'll share with you how you look into the process itself. All right, next, dedicated. Dedicated means do you have a measurement to it? Do you have a good software? Do you have an accounting software or statistically able for you to analyze, all right, the inputs of your figures? All right, the income, the expenses, all right, your accruals, all that. So are all these figures managed or rather analyzed by a good system? All right, so this is something that you need to think about.
You're still listening to the Business Jacking podcast brought to you by Q&E Software, the leading accounting and payroll software provider in Southeast Asia. With Q&E accounting software, you can now streamline all your financial reports into one powerful system and increase your team's efficiency while working remotely. Hurry and don't miss the 60 days free accounting software license. For Philippines, go to www.qne.com.ph, while for Malaysia, go to www.qne.com.my, and for Myanmar, go to www.qne.com.mm.
Other than numbers, is people. All right, I always share my courses and seminars and coffee talk with two things in mind. One, cash. Two, people. Because business are driven by people. All right, and for you to create an excellent teamwork, you must first make sure your communication channel is open. All right, so many times when teams are not doing well, it's because of the communication issues. All right, we always, some people like to assume, hey, I thought you know. Oh, I think you have been briefed. It's always about assumption. So no, please clarify it. All right, make sure that things are getting across each other and make sure the message is conveyed. All right, then the next thing is planning. All right, do things with plan. All right, do things with a timeline. Okay, do things with the mind, with the end in the mind, so that you know that whatever you want, whatever result you want to get is all in the pipeline. All right, then the third point is, of course, execution. All right, because many people like to talk, like to think, okay, like to daydream. Okay, worst comes to worst. But all these dreams must put into plan, must be in a written form, must be a well sorted, a communicated so-called strategy, and then you put it into action. All right. So all these execution has to be in place so that you can see the results, and most importantly, as I said just now, you must be also be able to measure your results against your so-called objective or target. All right, so this is something that you need to think about. All right, so next. So people is the greatest asset? Of course it is. So at the moment, I can see that many people may lose their job. All right, many bosses or many companies, they are now they are thinking of going through a slimming program. All right, really slimming program, cutting down people because the business drop. Okay, people come down, business come down. All right, so but how are you going to select the people that you would like them to go off? Okay, the word is called retrenchment. The word is called layoffs. Right, the word is called cutting people. Right, so please, when we select people or when we decide who to go or who to stay, you must understand, importantly, after ECQ, the company is still around. Do you still have people for you to regenerate your business, for you to recapture your market? All right, so just think about a little bit longer term, a little bit more middle term. All right, short term, yes, you got to conserve your cash, so you negotiate with the people. You negotiate with your people on the payroll, on their pay, whether can they go for unpaid leave, can they go for a deferment of pay, all right, on short-term basis. But in long term, you must still keep your good people, your talented people, your team in place, so that when this ECQ ends, when your business reopen, these good people are still able to work with you and be able to move forward with your plan, with your vision and with your mission. And of course, importantly, it's your 5-year or 10-year plan. All right. So later I'm going to share with you on all this and see how we can work it out together with your cash flow management and keeping your people in mind. All right. So KPI. So why is this KPI important? We call it the key performance indicator. Why is it so important? Because at the moment, many people may be staying home and work from home. All right. So you may not be able to see them face to face. They may go back to their hometown. They may be 2 hours or 3 hours away from your usual office area, because they are now back with their families. All right. So how are you going to monitor them? So how are you going to make sure that they are performing? So cash, people, and in between is measurement. All right. You got to measure how your people is working at the moment, so that they are still be able to follow the procedure. They are able to understand, right, the important part and see how we can work together as a team. All right. So KPI is important for us to understand and to be able to measure. So when in time to come, you know who to keep, or you may know who you want to let go. All right. So this is something that I would like to give our leaders or our directors or our bosses some ideas, and make sure our employees must understand this as well. All right. Because this COVID is not just affecting your bosses. All right. This COVID is affecting everyone. All right. So please think of your company. All right. If there's no company, there's no place for us to go back for work. All right. So team players, our colleagues, all right, our staff, our employee, please work with your bosses closely. All right. Feedback to your bosses what you need. Okay. Talk to them, communicate with them. All right. And take initiative. All right. So this is something that I would like to see more. Right? Like to see more after this course. All right. So feedback to your bosses, say, I think I can do something for you, boss. I think there's something that we can do online. There's something we can sell online. There's something we can do about pushing this product or your services through maybe direct call. All right, through maybe certain other channels. Maybe we can work with some association, we can work with some people, we can work with some platform. All right. So this is something that I think everyone should think about. Next.
Thank you for listening, and watch out for more episodes only here in the Business Jacking Podcast by Q&E Software, the leading accounting and payroll software provider in Southeast Asia.